Hello everyone, and welcome to the review of the Engwe P20, and this is their latest compact model. It's a 20-inch e-bike that folds and has all the goodies, modern goodies that you get on bigger bikes. And this is a carbon fiber transmission belt. There's no chain, there are no gears, and you get the integrated hub motor, and it has a very smart torque sensor, so there is no longer a cadence sensor. So this bike should work really nice, especially for city usage. And we of course have a new design, a very streamlined frame with an integrated battery in the rear area, which makes it very easy to detach. And now some more technical details. So the bike comes with a 9.6 amp battery, 36 volt. It has a 250 watt motor. And because this is sold in Europe, it comes limited to 25 kilometers per hour. It also comes with a throttle that is locked, and the throttle will work up to 5 kilometers per hour, just like walk assist. But you can do some really nice voodoo magic on this, and I'm not allowed to say that, but I'm going to say it anyway. You can unlock those limits. And if you are not in Europe, you can actually benefit from 30-35 kilometers per hour top speed with assisted mode and accelerator working. So pretty nice and has a lot of potential. And because we are talking about an Engwe bike, you know that Engwe always tries to improve their new products, not only by making them new like other producers, but they actually adopt newer technology or technology that was very successful on their previous bikes. So for instance, we have those big side wheel refractors that are very good and are very secure fixed, because I had a mention of them a long time ago because they are not sitting properly between the spokes. These ones are very good. Then I was complaining a long time ago about the brakes because they were using cable brakes. Now we get full hydraulics on this bike, and this is a small easy bike. It could have worked with cable brakes, but no, they want full hydraulic, and it's much better that way. And again, I was complaining that on some of their bikes they only included something like a refractor or a small stop lamp with LEDs and batteries. Now you get fully integrated turn lights with brake lights and also nighttime lights, and they are really nice. They are very bright. Now I'm filming in full sunshine, but in reality they are really bright, and they are so nice integrated into the frame here. They are seamless integrated and they look awesome. And you can see the two levels. So now I'm pressing the brake, and the fade one is for just riding at nighttime. And just like its bigger brother, the P275 Pro, we get this square frame with integrated headlamp, and this is like their new signature. And the headlamp here, it's no toy. Besides having a very nice lens and being very powerful, it also has a cutoff light, cutoff beam. As you can see, it draws a line on my hand. So this is actually making the beam to be flat on top and then to light up. So this is not going to blind other pedestrians, riders or cars. It's not going to shine upwards and just be a big halo of light, making you actually unsafe because someone can hit you because they were staring in your light. So it's the first time when I see such an invention on a bike. And there are other things that worth mentioning. For instance, we get Kenda tires that have K-shield, and they are puncture resistance tire casing. So you should have less flats with this. Should be much more better tires than usual bike tires. The handlebar also uses a minimalist design. You no longer have big LCDs that draw attention. You have this small LCD here. It is visible in daytime, not very bright, and it's not showing on my camera. You are going to see it flashing. That's not in reality, that's how my camera films. So you can check on these several things, and you have here buttons for switching the assisted modes. It has 3 assisted modes and a 0 assisted mode if you want to make a real fitness exercise on your bike without using the motor. Then you have this very slick accelerator, which if it's enabled, it can work right away from standstill. You can even do burnouts with it. Don't do that. And you have here the turn signal indicator button, so you have left and right. You can push it once, it's going to blink in the direction that you are pushing, and you can press it again to cancel. Otherwise you can press 2 times on the other one. So first time it's going to stop and then it's going to switch on the other side. Sadly, you don't have any LEDs here to show you that you are blinking your indicators in one direction or if they are off. Because the bike has an electric throttle that can activate the motor without you pedaling, so it's just going to turn on the motor. The brakes also have magnetic brake inhibitor sensors here, so when you are touching the brake, the bike will know that you want to brake or you want to stop, and it's going to disengage the motor even though you press the accelerator. Another nice addition is this weird looking thing here. This you can install by yourself or opt to not to do it if you want to. This is a magnet, and when you fold the bike, that magnet, it's going to clamp on this plate here and it's going to keep the bike folded much more better, so you can actually push it on the rear, so you can on the rear wheel or on the wheels, both wheels, so you can actually cart it around more easily when you want to move it. Another nice thing is the battery and the mechanism that holds it in place. So it has a key lock. You can quickly take this out. So the battery is out. You can charge it on the bike or on the go. You can take it with you. The battery is rather compact, so you can take this in your backpack and it won't show up. And it's nice because you no longer need to fold the bike to take the battery out like on other models, even other 20-inch type bikes, so 20-inch or larger. Most of them which are foldable have the battery inside the frame or in the seat post. Well, Engwe has got this idea, and personally I can say that this is one of the best ideas they had with the battery, because I'm not taking the seat with me, I'm not folding the bike each time. Makes it much more convenient, and it has a metal locking mechanism which is rather solid, so it's actually better this way than on other models. And to install it is just push and go and it's installed. Here you have of course the charging port, and on the other side here you also have a small main switch, so you can actually turn off the battery, so when it's off you are no longer being able to power this on. It's like a battery safe mode, so you don't accidentally leave those on. Nonetheless, it's not a safety measure, so if you turn that off, someone can turn it back on. So it's just for you to save battery power. As for the bike folding, it's very easy. You have a safety latch here, and then you take this lever out and the bike folds very easy. And we observed something else. There are no frame wires on the outside. All the wires from the front to the rear of the bike goes through the frame, and that's a nice thing to have. And they have a special protection here so they don't rub and break where the bike folds in half. Also, you have here a stand for the bike, so when it's folded, it's not going to sit on the chain ring. How do you call this? Because there's no chain. On the belt ring, on the belt gear, on the crank belt gear, call it whatever you want. So it's not going to sit here on this one, it's going to sit on that support, which is nice. Being a foldable bike, you also get foldable pedals, although they are from plastic, but they are decent because they don't have any kind of play in their shaft, so I consider them okay. And they are lighter because they are made out of plastic. And here you can also see the magnet that is holding the bike, so I'm jerking it around and the magnet is not going to release from that. You need a lot more force. Of course, the handlebar will also fold. Very simple. It has a locking pin here. Hold that and then just use the lever, and that's going to release this. But you actually need to do this in the opposite way. So you first need to fold the handlebar and then fold the frame, because they are not going over the seat here, and the handlebar is going to sit between the frame when it's folded. So you need to do something like this, unfold it back. I'm doing this with just one hand, and I'm probably going to drop it. Let's see if I'm okay with doing that. So the handlebar is folded, and this should go like this, and this one goes like this, and it's something like that. So the bike gets real compact, and the handlebar is between the frame. On some bikes the handlebar goes on the outside of the frame. On this one is like this. Of course the seat also is adjustable, and it has a pretty decent height, but you can always replace this with a longer one. Another nice addition, inside here you have plastic sleeving, so when you adjust the seat you are not going to scratch the seat post by putting it up and down all day long. So gets really nice, really compact when it's folded. Another nice addition are the mudguards, which are full-size mudguards. They are no sporty mudguards, and they are actually made from light plastic, so they are not going to rattle, they are not going to rust, they are not going to amplify riding noise, and I think that I've told you that they are lighter than the metal ones, and they are pretty solid, and they are really well installed. You have a wire here, you have mounting bracket here, and you have another mounting bracket there. Same for the front one, it's mounted here and has the bracket here, so they won't wobble around, and they are going to last a lot. You also get a rear rack here. This is rated up to 15 kilograms, so it can take some weight off you, and it has some extra brackets here, so you can actually mount something else on it, like a basket or other accessories. The seat also permits some extra adjustments, such as the tilt angle, and also you can slide this a bit front and a bit rear. It has a sliding grade here, so you can slide it a bit and better adjust it to your physical geometry, so you can ride the bike more comfortable. Also the seat is interesting. Although it's very thin and very sporty, it's actually rather comfortable, because it's made not only of some foam and hard plastic, but the plastic that is made out of it, it's actually flexible. So it kind of reminds me of very old leather seats. You may know them, that they didn't have any kind of padding. They were made from very thick leather, and they had some metal springs underneath, so they were kind of soft. Something similar happens with this. I don't know if you can observe it on the camera, but practically all this plastic that holds the foam on top is flexible, so it kind of takes your shape of your rounded part of your body and doesn't poke it until it gets blue. And of course, if you are a tall person, there's plenty more handlebar here for you, so you can ride this even if you are 2 meters or more than that high. Of course, you are probably going to need to upgrade the seat post in length, but that's not going to be a problem, because you can use a very long seat post, because it's an open bottom here, so you can have a seat post as long as all this. And there's no problem using a longer one, because it gives more strength to this side. And talking about the strength of the frame, this is very solid, because it uses here a triangle and another triangle, and it has reinforcement brackets on the forks, so all this part here is very solid, and this is rather solid as well. Only part that is under the biggest stress is the folding joint, but that is the same on all folding bikes. Yet most of the weight on the seat, as you can see, the seat is positioned rather here, so the weight goes down here, so it's mostly on the rear part of the bike, including the weight of the battery. So most of the force is happening here, and it's not distributed over the bike and over that folding mechanism. Also, you don't have a battery here like on other bikes, and you don't have contacts here, which is less problems in the long run. So enough with the talk, now we are going to ride it and see how this works out. So you get the idea how this performs, going uphill, accelerating, getting speed and so on. I weigh about 95 kilograms and today I have a backpack that is rather light and has about 2 kilograms. So in that configuration, keep that in mind. When I say that the bike goes uphill too slow or too fast, then you know that it's going to do that with 95 plus kilograms, with the backpack another 2 and so on. Right, so we are going to power it on. The display is very simple to use. It has a power button on top, you have a menu button here and a plus minus. If you press the power button here, it always starts on the 0. You are probably not going to see anything on the camera and neither the speed and what it indicates. With the up and down buttons, you can change the assisted mode and that's it. With this button here, you can change odometer and some other things that you want to see on the display. And I'm going to hop on. I'm going to mention that I did the voodoo magic that I was telling you about at the beginning of this video. So the bike no longer does 25 kilometers per hour, it does a bit more. So I started riding off-road because this is a city bike and that's how you should actually test them out. And this is a pretty steep incline here. I'm probably going to test it also uphill, but I'm not making any assumptions that this is going to go uphill over this part of the terrain, because now I'm sliding downhill with the rear wheel locked out, so I don't even have enough traction going downhill and it's a very rough terrain. But it's interesting that for a bike with no suspension, I actually feel pretty comfortable on it. That's because of that very interesting seat that is somehow soft but sporty. And just a bit more and I'm off from this area. So you can actually start the proper testing. And let's see. And that was a curve that had 10 centimeters height. And here we go. I can say from the start that this has probably the best acceleration in its size class and this power rating from all the bikes that I have tested. It simply accelerates almost instant and I'm on just assisted 1 mode. So I'm going to be standstill, so let's try it out. So the torque sensor responds almost instantly and I'm already doing 27 kilometers per hour. 27, yes, not 25. And here it's a very steep hill ramp. I test some of my bikes here if they have 250 watts power. If they have a simple hub motor, they are not going to get uphill. So I'm just at the start of the ramp. I'm already going up, so I'm on first assisted mode and I have absolutely no problem getting speed uphill. 25, 26, 27 and I'm up with 27 kilometers per hour. And I still have 2 assisted extra modes with a lot more power built into them. So I'm going to repeat the test again. Now I'm going to select maximum assisted mode and I don't want to go fast uphill, I just want to do it easy. I don't want to break a sweat. There are already 35 degrees outside centigrade, so it's very hot and you can hear the motor hum. I'm using not a lot of power. I'm actually pedaling very comfortable and you can feel the torque sensor that it feels every time when I press the pedal a bit more hard. Instantly the motor responds and gives me a boost, so it feels that the bike goes uphill slower and I need more assistance, and it does it instantly. And if I want some acceleration, it responds again very fast and linearly, and I'm doing 37 kilometers per hour. But I'm doing 37 just in a boost, because on this bike you only get a single gear. So I don't know if you can see my legs when I'm pedaling, you can see my cadence, but now I'm doing 30, 35, 38. At 38 kilometers per hour, I'm pedaling so fast that my feet can break off from the pedals. It's the maximum that I can do, but it's not a cadence that you can hold on. So if you just want to boost, overtake something, you can do that. But this bike with one single gear is intended to work in the range of up to 25 kilometers per hour. So keeping it up to 25 kilometers per hour, it's okay with one gear. And I like it how it goes uphill with one gear. It goes very well, unexpectedly well, because on some other models with 250 watts you cannot go up that hill that I have shown you. Another nice thing about this, besides being very solid, very maneuverable, stable and so on, which is, let's say, not very common on this size, because the smaller the wheels are, the less stability you have on a bike. Nonetheless, beside all of that and being able to maneuver it very well, it also has very low rolling resistance. So if I give it a boost and I stop pedaling at all and I'm not doing anything, this is going to keep on going and going and going and going, because probably, and this is the first time when I cannot confirm that, I think that is using a motor that has a one-way clutch with a gear hub. So that has very good torque, and when you are not pedaling or using any kind of power, the one-way clutch disconnects the motor from the hub of the wheel, so it's not dragging you down, it's not doing any kind of magnetic cogging, and it permits you just to free roll like a normal bike. So you can coast and go and go and go and save power and save your strength, save battery, save everything. And that also permits you going very fast downhill. And you can see, actually you may not see the display here, so I'm pedaling a few times. I have 24 kilometers per hour, and now I have 20, 19, and I give it a few more pedals and then I go again. It goes and goes and goes, and you can see the road is not even great here. It's putting a lot of resistance because it's full of cracks and bumps, but the bike still rolls easily. And that gives me another idea. I'm going to fully stop, and the brakes are working brilliant, and I'm going to go here into zero mode. No assistance, no power. So let's see, can I ride the bike this way? So starting off from standstill feels a bit weird. It's like someone is holding you back a bit. But now at 13 kilometers per hour, I feel, actually keeping this speed, I feel very comfortable. And I can ride it this way. And I don't feel that I'm doing too much effort. Feels almost like a normal, regular bike. And if I select assisted mode 1, I can start to feel that someone is helping me, and the pedals are starting to go much more easy. If I go on the third assisted mode, this thing simply transforms itself. It just simply wants to get from under you and go forward. You can feel it dragging you in front while you remain somewhere holding on the handlebar. The acceleration is pretty impressive for such a small motor, such small power rating. I definitely like it, and it works really nice with the torque sensor because it's not a cadence sensor and it has no delay. And another hill climb. This is a very long ramp here, and it goes there. On the camera, because of the fisheye distortion, it probably it has an aspect of being flat. It's not flat, it's rather steep, and you can see probably in my left here the hill that the building is on. So I'm going uphill. I'm doing that with no effort whatsoever on third assisted mode. Third assisted mode, it actually makes you go faster and faster and faster with each pedal, because each time when you are on the top of the crank and you are pressing the pedal, the bike simply just wants to go soft, and you feel like you are pedaling much more easy then, and then you give it a bit more power, and it's practically driving you faster and faster. And not even a speed bump is a problem, stopping, going over it. And only here the ramp has stopped going up. No problem. I'm not in the shape of riding the bicycles. I get tired very easy. Not with this bike, no problem going on that ramp, which is very, very good. So uphill capability, great on this model. Going downhill is of course a pleasure with any bike, but with this one, with the low rolling resistance, it's a real pleasure because you don't have to do anything, and it gets on faster and faster and faster. Also, you can observe that there is no strange noise on this bike. It doesn't make any kind of weird noises. There are no creaks or other type of noises from the folding mechanism or from somewhere else. Of course, this is also a fixed frame. It doesn't have any suspension, moving parts, but there is no rattle from the brake levers, from the folding of the handlebar mechanism, from anything. Just the tires are making noise. Even the motor is pretty silent. You can only hear it when you are going very slow on a very steep incline and you are not putting effort. So the motor does all the hard work for you, and even then you just hear something like a small buzzing hum. It's not the noisy big hum that you get on other bikes, or even on the other big Engwe bikes, which has a lot more noisier motors. This one is mostly silent and makes the riding a real pleasure. It feels like riding a normal bike. You don't have even the noise that is on the rear sprocket, the freewheel. It doesn't do that creaking sound. Absolutely no noise. So I really like that. And another thing that we should test is the accelerator. I have used again my Black Voodoo Magic on it. So when I press this down, I'm doing several times the 5 kilometers per hour, a few times more. So let's see how many times the 5 kilometers per hour are done with this. So I'm doing 20, 25, 29, 30, 31, 32. All right. And it's staying at 31, 32. So it's exactly 5 kilometers per hour, plus minus the difference. You can count on that. But this doesn't work, it cannot be unlocked, and it's not possible, right? So you understand that perfectly. And more Voodoo Magic for it. And this is super comfortable this way. So after a very long run and a lot of testing, you can cool yourself down with this, with the wind, and not doing any kind of work. I really like it. And let's do a bit of off-roading also, similar with the one from the start. So the asphalt is no longer here. We get some sand, grass, dirt. The bike rides okay. It's not a bike made to ride in off-road areas, but for short distance it can help you pass. Imagine you want to pass some footpath somewhere that connects other roads or something like that. I'm riding okay with this around here. There's no problem, and the bike provides a lot of torque, even going slightly uphill back. I'm going to get up on this mount here. It's very easy to pedal it. There are no gears to change, nothing. It's all done by the torque sensor. That one is doing the job for you, and it's doing it very well. But the motor has very good torque and helps you a lot. It helps you not having a lower gear when you want to go uphill, so it gives you a lot more torque to help you conquer all kinds of terrain. And with that said, the test ride is now over, so it's time for the final conclusion about this bike, the pros and the cons that I'm going to give you now. And the pros, you know most of them already from my riding experience, so I'm amazed about this bike acceleration. It goes uphill very easy. That is because the motor has a lot of torque, it's unlocked, and having one single gear, that gear is chosen that way, so it helps you get uphill without putting too much effort. I also like the torque sensor as it responds to your legs almost instantly. There is no delay because it's not a cadence sensor, so when you press the pedal you get the motor power right away. And I also like the hydraulic brakes, not only because they are hydraulic and they have a lot of stopping power, but they are also having modularity, so you can finely squeeze the brake lever and it's going to respond proportionally to your braking action, which gives you very good control. And now a con, because as I always say, there is no perfect product. The accelerator, it's very sensitive, but not only in the first part of its travel. As you can see, it has a lot of movement, so it moves a lot. So just here, just a tiny bit, when you press it, it doesn't do anything, so you need to press it a bit more, and then it works progressively. But this design, although I like it because it's very slim, it's nice. I always loved the trigger throttles. It also having this very long part here, lever. When you are going over big bumps with the bike, you tend to move your hand on this, so you are going to accelerate, decelerate. Of course, only if you use the throttle and only if you have the black voodoo magic done on your bike, so it's unlocked. And also a note, this is not a pro, this is not a con, this is just an observation. As you look at the bike, you can see that it has a very sleek, sporty design with all those wires hidden through the frame. In the rear part of the bike, you don't see any kind of cable, nothing. The cables are run in the fork and under the fork here. They are not under this part exposed a lot, just it has a clip here to hold the wire, so you don't see the wires coming from all around. Yet on the front part of the bike, because the bike is rather advanced, and you have here brake, which is hydraulic, and brake inhibitor, two cables, at least one hose and one cable. Then you have the display, another cable. Then you have the direction indicator, another cable. So we have 4 cables only from this part. Then we have the throttle here and other 2 cables from the brake lever. So we get this massive chunk of cables here, and they are a lot, and they have connectors, so they go through this part here, and which makes it look rather nice, but you get this. So I wonder if Engwe in the future may come up with a solution to hide some of these cables. It would be awesome. And with that said, it's time to end this review. Be sure to follow my next uploads, where you are going to see this bike in some other videos, such as simple riding with this bike in the city, normal riding, how I ride it with the accelerator, with the assisted mode. Also, maybe I will not promise anything, but I might show you what's the magic about that voodoo thing that I'm telling you about. So that may come up sometime later. So be sure to follow my next uploads, and until then, see you and bye bye.